Oh my gosh, YouTube. I just turn on the webcam, begin recording. Just after scandal. This stuff. Whew. That's there's no words you can say about this. This show is just getting better and better. And okay, I'm just gonna start because I like I said, the highlights just everywhere. Now, of course, it's one of those in and out episodes. You're jumping back and forth, 5 years and back and forth back. So Olivia actually, again, this is she met Huck in, the train state, subway station, whatever. And he first was asking some about doggy bags, bringing some food. And she was saying, every Sunday. Now, every Sunday around this time, actually, um, she goes and has dinner with her dad. And it's kind of like he had to force her because actually she's been having resistance to him because now she still thinks that he has this job where he works with, I guess, some, like he has some he's an anthropologist or works with historian or some type of job along those lines. And but he had to make her go actually, to eat the dinner with him and stuff in exchange of having family time, and he would pay off her, her law school student loans. And around this time also she's also pointing out she's dating what is his name, Ederson, I think, at the time. And then we find out later on kind of why how the relationship somewhat ended. Because Anderson still hasn't met Olivia's Pope's dad, which we kind of could see why. And then she kind of was trying to tell him when he wanted to say, they were talking one time on the phone, and he's like, okay, well, I never met your dad. And she's just like, well, I don't want to have anybody that I'm dating to meet my dad or kind of inappropriate. And he's like, okay, we're living together and something like that. But this is why, to a certain point, Olivia is kind of resistant to marrying because once we see what goes down, by the time y'all watch the end of this episode, you see why. Her dad is a beast, okay? And that could be taken good or bad, okay? Because it's kind of like she is related to technically the enemy in disguise because there's so much shit that is attached to me. And, her mother is really dead. um I'm starting to believe he got something to do with it. You know what I mean? She got sick of Thomas or he made her disappear. Okay. So, anyways, after long off they're talking, of course, to go back for a meal day, of course, Millie's talking to Cyrus because, after the president still wanted to actually still tell the truth, and and Cyrus just was letting him know, like, you gotta grow some prejudice or balls and shit, whatever the case is. Because let's be for real, even though unfortunately Olivia and Vince would have come out and tell the truth. Can you really? I mean, good. I mean, I know the saying's good as prevails, but it's so much at stake of everything the political year if shit gets out or the truth. You know. So, anyways, um, to oh lord, it was just so much going back and forth. Now, another scene that correlates because back and forth because going back in 5 years. Olivia, one of the times that she comes, first one of times that she goes with one of her family Sunday nights out with her father. She's on, about to get on the train, subway, and these two guys try to mug and tackle for her purse. And here comes Huck doing some damn assassin shit and just karate chop and taking him out. I don't know if the guys died or not, but it was just some stuff that you just least expect because it was on some 007 type of shit. And she goes to ask him. I don't know if that was that particular day or the next day to ask him like where did he know the stuff. First, of course, doing the fact that Huck is traumatized completely. He first tunes it out like he doesn't know what happened, and then the first league was trying to, says, gave him the torture opening to be like, um, you can trust me. It's no let you. It's okay to tell me the truth, but when you can't tell the truth, let's be for real. Well, after hearing that shit, the average person, I don't care, even if Olivia Pope position or higher, you couldn't handle the goddamn truth of hearing that at first. Because here he's talking about he was in Wonderland, he was an assassin, he was in B-16 or 13, whatever they call that mission, and this is why, this is how he learned how to be that way. So of course Olivia was questioned like, okay, do you need any meds or anything? And he just tuned another situation talking about how him, Olivia and her father need to start, going and getting cheeseburgers. So he was really craving a cheeseburger. So like I said, to keep going back and forth, but I'm just trying to like put it together based on the time frame of the stuff. So we have a time where Olivia, like after the mugging incident, Olivia starts going to her father's house for dinner, and he gives her a number, because she said she didn't like wine, but as we see nowadays, that's totally different. And maybe her father introduced her to wine after that. So after she liked this wine, because he told her, you just never try the best one, you'll like it if you try this one. He started, he gave her a number to this person, and it was a specific pen that he gave her, and gave her the pen and gave a name to the person, Miguel or whatever, at this winery place wherever they sell like this, the best fine wine, and go from there. And so, um, after that, he ended up, oh yeah, like I said, so after that, whatever. Olivia's also, I think, at this time asking, or another time, like I said, it's so much good for, and I don't take notes, I just go straight what I can remember. Um, After that, she wants to ask information because after she was mugged or whatever, she realized the way because she's brought up Huck before. And of course, the dad first asking like, being friends with a homeless person and stuff like that, whatever the case is. And then she says also at the time what he said, because you should have seen the dad's face what she said about the B-13 and some information. So of course he tries to make her think that of course he's just insane and stuff like that, and whatever. So how can you trust him? And then she asks him to, look for the information. Can I know some people, whatever the information, to, basically to find out to see if it's true, whatever, find out some background information about Huck. And the next time actually she goes sees the dad, he lies and says, because they make him first disappear, whatever. He was still alive, but they made him disappear. It turns out, he lied and said like, he was arrested, and he's a paranoid schizophrenic and had this long rap sheet and stuff like that, but made up this lie to make it appear like Huck is really this next person, leave and question it. And I think a back and forth. This is she actually also met David around this time as well too. He in the courtroom because that's when she went in her own sources. I think it was one of her somebody who was a professor or something, and had the link to David to also find out what had happened to Huck. And it turns out, David's like, Olivia's like, oh, well, somebody arresting and stuff, and he like, no. So it turns out it was nobody arresting and stuff like that. And then she paid attention to a certain pen, and she was out walking, and she actually ends in the street Wonderland, and it was something about that same pen that David had because she remembered that David also had one too when she met him at the courthouse. He somehow was had some case or something with a prostitute, and the same pen that her father had gave her. So when she ended up, I think, going to, yeah, it was actually, she was on her way, I think, to Sunday dinner with her dad, and they went back and started going back to the restaurant, and she could tell the face. So she basically asked her dad, like, what do you do? And him being the cutthroat motherfucker that he is, he's just like, you don't want to know, you don't want to know, and I want things to stay in the R. You better, I'm paying for this time here, and you gonna eat, and that's that. You want to, if you want to fuck with me, you want to. Watch what happens. Okay, you keep crossing the line and shit like that. We're gonna keep it the things away and on. That's it. You know, and it's just like you don't need, you can't handle the truth because you don't want the owl, what the consequences of the truth with this shit. And that's pretty much what he was telling her. So she ends up walking away, whatever. Um, and then it seemed like a weird on and off in between the scenes that then they go back that I don't know. This is after she walked away, found out what her dad did. Then she finally brings Edison with him and with her, and I think it might have been the second last time because after that he calls her and basically says like that's not the right guy for you, and says something about he was in a car accident, car broke rules. You can break it down to him about the engagement because she accepted engagement, but it kind of explains like why in a way she can't be close with Edison because basically her dad put the fear and God in her with this whole situation, and it's like he's control. It's that it is. I mean, there's a difference of being protective and just flat out like being abusive of power, and her dad is just like. I mean, he does have love for Olivia, but it's like you're dealing the man and the monster, and the dad is both, and, and that's a bad combination. And so back that's the last part. Is there anything else that they kept flip flopping the 5 years beforehand? Not too much. Now we're just gonna go to current times. Now, of course, Millie comes to the plan with Cyrus, and we're going back to present day now because, like I said, it was all that switching back and forth. That's too much back and forth. Millie comes up and first gives Cyrus a photo of all the times that she was out the White House and see hoping that can match with Jenner's, because now Jenner, of course, is now Olivia's client, and of course Olivia has already spoke to the president, where the president is one Secret Service while she was jogging with that lovely white that lovely white coat. She is amazing. She always wears white, but he had told her like they basically were talking, and then she said I'm gonna have to come to the White House, and he's just like hold with a juggler, you just do it, do what you supposed to do, since she let him know that that was her client. So you know actually, so like I said, Millie and Cyrus are still trying to keep the heads because the president was is still trying to hold himself together and stand his grounds as far as like this is messed up that we're throwing an innocent girl under the bus that has nothing to do with this. Okay, we threw her in some shit that she had no involvement with. And so, of course, like I said, Millie tells Cyrus and gives us folders. That way he can plan with, the dates that she was there at the White House to make it seem like they were alone. And of course, eventually, Olivia's and the Gladiators find out about this, and because it's trying to say like they were alone, and they end up telling her basically Jenna ended up telling her. Let me rephrase that. Jenna told them rather that I have proof that I've been working with somebody. I've never been alone with the president. There's instant messages and stuff like that, proof and timestamps and everything to indicate, and that it was never just me, and there's no way this could be true. So of course, you got Olivia trying to get her set up in the business. So of course the poor child breaks down when they're doing the fittings and stuff in preparation because she's just like, why is this happening to me? I haven't done nothing wrong. Why is this happening to me? I'm just trying to do the White House work, and I'm sitting preparing to try and, basically clear my name. And of course, Olivia is trying to keep the child from being upset and stuff like that, because of the circumstances. And all of a sudden, like I said, there's so much going on. And of course, Olivia's dad finally comes in also around this time to Olivia's place because right before then him and Cyrus talk because he's basically telling Cyrus communicating with him like just make a long story short, okay, this better work out as far as like it stays that Jenna's supposed to be the supposed mistress with the president, okay. And also that's we find out that's the only way that say Jake is going to be released or whatever is if this still stands that Jenna takes the fall for being, the president's side hoe, sideline hoe, whatever. So, of course, when Olivia and the father's talking, this is an interesting scene. Now they got the soundproof glass, so that shows like sometimes what is, of course, some things right in front of your face are totally different than what they are. You got the team trying to wonder like, okay, we never heard about Olivia's father at all. So something was that, and of course now we got also oh my gosh, what is his name? Huckin. You got Abby, then you got Harrison, and then okay Quinn, yeah Quinn. Okay, Quinn is really taking over the win. She's hacking into shit and everything, killing, torturing folks, motherfuckers like it ain't shit. Okay, she's a female version of Huck in there now. And she kind of wanted to investigate, like, okay, something ain't right, that she's never mentioned this man, nothing like that, and she's trying to put two and two together. But at this time, while they're still trying to slowly figure stuff out before she really starts investigating, she he had live under dad behind the soundproof, like the soundproof glass, and it's just amazing, just so people won't think understand what's going on. But I know that it's not really completely soundproof. Well, I think you can't hear what's going on, but it's clear, a clear wall glass. So they just like smiling and stuff, but they all saying, like, she's like, give me back Jake, what did you do with Jake? And blah blah blah, and give me back Jake, or whatever the case is. And he just like, things have to stay the same, whatever the case is. Like, Jen is gonna have to go down and stuff like that. And she's just like, what if he's dead? Well, you won't know that then, whether he's dead or alive, because he's like, Jenna better stay as the sideline hoe, or what else? Or what else? Or you Jake is going bye bye, okay? We gonna throw him out to the throw him out to the sea, um, or we go and he gonna be um under 6 feet under, pretty much. So now around this time also, they come up with a plan, and Millie, because like also by this time you got Olivia going every night to the what is the morgue, or whatever the body, I mean, not the morgue, yeah, I think it is the morgue, but she's trying to check and see if Jake, is one of these new fresh bodies, because they got to hook up, of course, where, to get another dead body in there. She goes in to see, like, is this Jake? Is this Jake? And things. So one time she gets a call, I guess, of this recent new body that got into the place where they're doing the autopsy. I think the autopsy here is more, I think is the right word. Okay. So when she's going in, um, Jenna, which they found out anyway, the White House person know where Jenna was. Jenna at the time is actually at Olivia Pope's couch in her, of course, in her little condo. And she gets this call. Now, first we don't know who the hell it is, and then all of a sudden, here go Millie and her back, talking to her, and she was just, the first thing Jenna says, "I never slept with your husband," and Millie's like, "I know, but we're gonna talk about, your future career." And so she comes back. It seemed like right after, Olivia has another, comes back from the autopsy lab or whatever. And so she ends up, turning the next day. I think it's the day of. There was so much going on the day right before, because like I said, Olivia ends up calling her dad again, and still wants Jake, wants to tell the truth, but at the same time she's trying to tell her dad, okay, I'll have so many dinners for you. He really wants the father and daughter time, okay, because he even taken consideration about, the family Sunday dinner, something like that. I mean, that just broke her down. She was just like, okay, fuck it. We're gonna pretend like we're one big happy family and shit. Just give me back Jake, because she's already sat there and called the president, I think a day before that. And of course, we all know the president's still mad as fuck, because we already know Jake been doing more protection. He's been protecting all right, and been banging that bank out and stuff. Which of course we all know Cyrus had took some of the tapes, so that way he can kind of like, it's like, so Cyrus was willing to take out his husband out, okay, for a minute. So nobody is spared as far as I'm concerned. If it's about protecting his career or protecting shit, he's like, fuck you, everybody, pay me. Okay, so we all know how that goes. And so, he asked, of course, Cyrus to try to stop, B13, whatever, so they can release Jake. And of course, Cyrus trying to explain to him there's nothing we can do, but he's trying to, because Olivia asked, like, please do this for me. I know you don't like him, nothing like that, whatever the case is, because, like I said, he's seen the tapes. Bang, bang. Okay. And, but she's just like, do it for me. This man saved my life, please, So, but like I said, the real reality is, Olivia, there either has to be somebody to take the fall, or somebody is going to die. Because if Jenna does not admit, or if it's not said that Jenna has slept with the president and it stays, Jake dies. But, that's what I'm saying is, but if a Jake, but Jenna's career, as far as like being honest, whatever communication aids that she had, her career dies. So which one would the average person choose? Okay. So and Jenna, like I said, has been offered like tax free $2 million tax free, and she said she's gonna go ahead and take the fall because, like I said, when Abby was trying to get the messages around this time from the coworker that Jenna was with, some dude, whatever, it turns out that she said don't give the message or delete the message or something like that because she realized, like, money, they ain't bad, okay. So since she's gonna take the fall, I guess get Claire Crew, whatever, is gonna help her, like, get a book deals, whatever, have a straight for life, some type of endorsement deals and blah blah blah. And because she said, she's gonna stick with this deal, of course, Liv was trying to get her to explain to her, like, you're selling your soul for a couple coins, and you may have all the money in the world, but emotionally, can you live with that shit as far as like taking a fall with somebody else, especially on that level? But so, in the end, like I said, in between this, okay, the president, like I said, because of it's because of circumstances, he ends up saying that he slept with Jenna. Because before Virginia goes on, it was like the interview, live interview, whatever, was on hold because the president was going to make a response, but he, in the end, ends up having to choose that he slept with Jenna. And so you still a little more things going on. And around this time before, also Quinn has been doing some investigation and noticing the time of the emails and then she hacked and saw some emails that the girl was asking about. I guess Liv was at one minute, said girl meaning Liv, asked some information about, say, trying to help out Huck, and the emails had stopped at a certain amount of time. And then, Quinn is asking, like, well, Huck, weren't you around this certain time or when you were in the train station? So, basically putting two together, where it's like, okay, it's some connection with Liv's dad and obviously your situation. And then we go back to a flashback of just about a couple, what episodes you might say, but in the season 2, about Charlie was saying he wanted the same deal as Huck was given, and Liv was saying there was no deal, but actually Huck is alive because of Liv to, to a certain point, because she asked for, Huck back and stuff, once she found out the truth that, 5 years ago about that was some bullshit lie that her father did, so the operation and this B16, 13, whatever would not be exposed. And so, Huck is catching on, and we're about to see in a minute when he catches on. Woo! So here we got Mrs. Isn't That Special? Church Lady Sally and shit after Fizz announces that he's sleeping with Jenna right after when all this stuff is going on. So I don't think you were telling. I don't think. Well, I'm sorry. Let me just do it in my Mrs. Church Lady goes. I don't think you were telling me the truth. I thought I could have sworn blah 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 because that's how she was sounding me, stuff like that. But like I said, Sally, aka Mrs. Church Lady, was saying, like, she didn't felt like it was true. So the president said, I didn't lie to you, nothing like that. I was, with her and blah blah blah. So they were gonna stick with that lying stuff. So to make a long story short, whatever. First, I don't know where Huck, is following, Liv to a car and shit like that. And this one Huck we realized put two together because he wants to know, okay, is your father, part commander, whatever, B16? And then all of a sudden, here we go, like this. Just got a string of something. And I know that I don't think Huck meant to do that, but he already gone in the head, and I think he snapped because once he realized when, he's damn near, living just whatever, then he's just kind of like pushes away, and then he asks her again, and then she said yes, and then it just seems like she's about she gets to her place, and then her dad is calling, okay, Mr. Munster and the man, okay, um calls, and she's basically saying, like, go to hell, I don't want nothing to do with you, and he's like, open up the door, open up the front door, open up your door. And then all of a sudden at the door, we see Jake beaten up and bruised, probably traumatized and shit, after they let him out the hole and shit. And he's like, Sunday dinners are back on, back in my place, back on. So that's how it is. I mean, whew. Now we gotta see here. I mean, they showed a preview, some little preview, some heifer got on some bombs. I don't know if she placed them there herself. I don't know who has gotten bombs and if they're right house or where location that they're at. But I'm just saying, is that now what the fuck's gonna happen with her and Huck's bond and friendship? Is Quinn gonna find out? The rest of the Galaxy crew's gonna find her. You know what I'm saying? It's so many deeper layers. So since we know who Olivia's dad is. He knows who Olivia's dad is now, and he feels like Liv didn't tell him the truth about certain stuff. So now he feels somewhat more betrayed. And already we all know what happened to poor Huck, and especially the background story how they basically, he had to give up everything, and his wife and son. It's really sad, and he just and then put him the whole. We all know the Hulk story, and her dad now. I'm just thinking like I said, I seen the Wikipedia page that Jake is supposed to be the main character. Now you gotta wonder like since they kind of almost had him like where Huck was before he got a Metro Station. You're kind of like now it's like I don't know how long Jake is in. I don't think he was in there as much long as Hawk was, but it was long enough that it traumatized the fuck out of a person, even just being there for some 10 seconds and stuff would be traumatizing as is. So now we gotta wonder what I know they had at the end. Like I think on Twitter you can ask, is good Jake gonna be good or bad? But like I said, is Jake gonna be good or bad? Is Huck gonna be on some shit? I mean, it's like that's what this is. This is a scandal. Okay, I am gone for this evening, literally, and that's all I have to say. Until next time, everybody, I am gone and I'm out. Peace.